right, here we go again, Sal. Another episode of The High Ground, powered by Premier Companies. And we have a premier guest with us today, Ben Hoene, from our Liquid Fuels division. So, Ben, without further ado, we'll kick this off and let you tell us a little bit about yourself, some of your work history and things that you've been involved in, and your job at Premier. So,
hey, thanks for having me, guys. I guess Sal come up this morning and said, "Hey, somebody canceled. Can you come in?"
I know.
So I feel like I'm like second fiddle or third fiddle here.
I was like, "Hey, I got a favor to ask," and he goes, "What is it?" And I was like, "That's not a. You didn't confirm that you're going to do the favor yet.
Just say yes."
I asked if it was legal or illegal first, so
just so all of our listeners know, there is no prep work for much of this.
There's not much prep work for any of these. If they've listened to them, they know that.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and apologize for that. So, anyways, hey, just to answer my work history. So I've been with Premier for 16 years. Before that, I was with Jackson Jennings for 5 years, where I drove a tender truck and kind of did the old odd stuff out there. In between time, though, I did own a trucking company and had good success with that. And Mike Carson, he actually offered me a job, and somebody wanted to buy a truck same day. So,
wow,
that's where I ended up now. So I thought, whoop. And my wife was having the second kid, so yeah, it's time to grow up and kind of get back into the real world here.
When reality hits you, we all know where we were that day.
That's a slap.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. But yeah, so I'm happy to be here. Premier is a great place to work for, and it allows me to do some other things on the side where we have a hydroponic greenhouse at home, raise quite a few cattle, both beef cows and stocker herd, and got a number of other things going too, but we won't get into them. But right at Premier right now, what I'm doing is kind of responsible for refined fuels and transportation. So a lot of people don't realize we do have a transportation division where we have 11 tanker trucks. Honestly, don't remember how many. Ryan might know how many hopper bottoms we have and dump trailers, but
I don't know. We just added 2, so I think that's maybe 7 or 8, and one dump and 3 bottles. And
when you lose count, it's a lot. Let's just say you can't think of how many it is.
Yeah, as he says, many people don't know we have a transportation department. Once you become aware of it, it becomes a beast.
It is definitely a beast, that's for sure. So, yeah, so that's just a little bit about what I do here.
You don't sleep very much, do you, Ben? I mean, you don't have a lot of downtime because you're the first one here in the office generally every morning and checking the markets and
he's so reserved most of the time.
Oh yeah,
very. I just try and keep to myself on there.
Well, one of the topics we want to talk about when we got started today was renewable fuels, and I've learned a lot about it just since my time here at Premier Ag. But tell us a little bit about renewable fuels and what they are, and I guess what it means to the consumer and to Premier Ag. So what is renewable fuels?
Well, renewable fuels can be a multitude of different things, but what we have here on the Premier Ag side, Premier Energy side, would be a biodiesel, which is soy-based, or it can be animal fats or whatever, or ethanol. So those are the 2 main products that we have that we push on the renewable fuel side here at Premier with it.
And so that's at all of our stations or at any gas stations, can you buy this renewable fuels? I mean, the whole concept is that we can grow it, and it's locally. It's energy that comes from the farm, correct?
Correct. So yeah, all of our, I shouldn't say all of it. We do have some recreational gas that does not have ethanol in it, but all the gas you buy from us is going to be 10% ethanol in it. Whether it's at the gas station or from our tank wagon delivery trucks or a transport load going to someone else. And here at Premier, I mean, we love 10% ethanol. Of course, we're supporting our corn growers and everybody else when we do that. We have to blend 10% into our fuels. It helps us meet an RFS standard, which is set by the government on how many gallons we have to blend in there. And we love 10%. People all think, oh, they don't want to blend 10% ethanol in there because of whatever, big oil and yada-da-da. But we really have to have 10% because our refineries make 84 octane gas. Without 10% ethanol, we don't have 87. So, yeah, we like 10% ethanol because it's cheaper for us to make an 84 octane than it is an 87. So we do love that. One of our stations here, we actually have E15 at the Broadway station here in Seymour, so which is 15% ethanol with it. So we encourage people to go up there and take a look at it. We actually have it priced cheaper than regular 87 octane gas, just trying to get people to hit the button and get more people involved in burning ethanol.
I've seen that. It's a higher octane, but it costs less.
Yeah, it costs less. Yeah, that's exactly right. And at Brownstown, you can actually select whether you want an E10 or you want an E85, and in between there, you can take your picks there too with the ethanol side.
So you can actually just increase it right to the pump. You just make the selection right there.
Yeah, you make the selection just like you would if you were selecting 87, 89, or 93 octane. We just need to get more people to push that button. You know, we have ethanol in Brownstown, which is a great ag community. Ton of people there that should support agriculture, but we just can't get anybody to push the button most of the time. I don't know if they're afraid of it or what it is, but hey, it's there and ready to be used.
But there are some restrictions on it for a vehicle year, but it's an older vehicle. I mean, we're not dealing with a lot of those on the road likely.
Yeah,
anymore.
there's not too many of them. I mean, if you've got one of the older vehicles that wouldn't use it.
Pre what? 2000?
Yeah, somewhere in there, 2000, 2001. I don't know right off the top of my head, but.
So it's been around for a long time, and all the newer vehicles, we can pretty much say that.
All the new vehicles, yeah, you're in good shape to go up to an E15 or unleaded 88 is what they like to call it, the real word for it, I guess. So.
And so for the diesel side, the biodiesel, what does that mean? Tell us how much is blended in with like a straight diesel fuel? Tell us what a biodiesel is.
A biodiesel, you can go up to a 5% blend and just call it normal diesel. You don't even have to label anything different saying, hey, I got biodiesel in there or whatever. But we do support the 5% biodiesel blend across the board there. And we do, again, at Brownstown, we have a blender pump down there where you can select whatever grade of biodiesel you want, up to 20%. So you can go from B0 to B20 and catch it in between. And once again, I can't figure it out. Everybody hollers and wants, and I need to have biodiesel and all this available, but we just aren't getting people to push the button and support it. And
that is strange because it burns good, right? Clean.
Yeah, everything burns the same. Yeah. So there's no huge difference in what it is.
Some of the advantages, I guess, for a consumer. I mean, I'm not an expert on how gas burns or diesel ratings, but what's for a consumer perspective? You already said that we have a higher octane gas. I guess from a consumer perspective, is there any other benefits? I mean, does it? I see on the sticker it does burn cleaner, correct, on the pump? Right.
Yeah, it's a cleaner burning fuel. It helps the environment, I guess, is the best way to put it.
And the mileage, mileage is similar?
Mileage, hey, there's a number of us been running the E88, 15% ethanol blend for, I don't know, almost a year, and we've been able to come up with a mileage decrease with it. Actually, some of them have said they've actually increased their mileage with it. I know with an E85 you tend to lose some mileage with it, but
so price less and same.
Price less, it helps the ag community. I really can't tell you there's any fault in it, except for people are afraid of it for whatever
people
reason.
To use it.
You got to get people to use it. Yeah, you can't sit there and complain about us not using enough or wanting to burn it if you won't do it yourself. So,
well, it sounds like we've got that new station there at Brownstown and all the stations, so it's there available for everybody that wants it. Yep. And I know at Brownstown it's got almost every selection you can imagine.
Any grade of ethanol, biodiesel, or even just straight gas, we have it there. That's definitely has everything you want.
So we're doing our part to support that as far as trying to push those gallons through. What does it mean for our growers? Clearly, we have an opportunity to sell ethanol just up the road, corn for ethanol. I'm sorry. But what does that mean for growers? Do you know how many bushels a year is attributed to ethanol production?
Boy, if I'd have been prepared and wouldn't be a last-minute guest, I'd have probably had that information for you, and I'd pull one out of my ass. But I can't do that right now.
Well, whatever.
Whack that out.
Sorry about that.
Okay, then. We don't know that.
But I don't know, but I do know that it's a huge portion of where our corn goes around here. I mean, we've got multiple locations do ethanol or make ethanol, and we support it as much as we can, and we want to. I mean, everybody's got to keep in mind too, if you don't get on the page with using ethanol, a higher blend, or pushing so that we can do a higher blend year round, you know, and this electric vehicle stuff comes through. If you think that's a good thing, being a farmer, you know, maybe if you got solar panels or whatever, yeah, it's going to be a good thing for you for a little while. But once corn starts getting displaced, ethanol, it's going to start hurting the price.
Well, even I've got a lot of questions about that. I know we can't answer here, but to me, it just seems like the power has to come from somewhere. And if it's electric or whether it's gas, there's no free energy, and there's a cost somewhere. And I'm not sure that charging headlong into one into one sort of power is beneficial. There's a trade-off, and I feel like we're not answering the other side of the equation.
Right.
And that's, I mean, I got Milwaukee power tools, or not to say a brand, but I'm sure you do too, or some sort of power tools, and they run on batteries, and that's good. But it feels like on our power grid that it just seems like it's going to really tax it to try to move that many vehicles. And we got to make it with coal or burning natural gas or something. So it feels like there's just a trade-off that no one's talking about the other side of the equation.
Yeah, I think they're missing that whole equation. I mean, even the trade-off, just growing corn. I mean, what did they say whenever we're growing corn? It's like we get rid of all the carbon in the air or something, and we're so much cleaner in this area. But you start doing away with a lot of production of row crop agriculture or whatever it is. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get where they're trying to come up with.
All the easy questions have been answered. It's the hard ones that people seem to avoid. They don't like to.
Yeah, it's the obvious ones sometimes they try and avoid, I think.
Well, it is, you know, we see natural disasters. We've had some major tornadoes. We've had some major hurricanes. And in those areas where the infrastructure has been destroyed for electricity, there's still the opportunity to haul them fuel. There's still the opportunity to get them chainsaws running, vehicles running, ambulances and hospital generators running. We can't haul them electricity. And that's troublesome in these times of natural disasters. And I've got some friends who were affected by that recent tornadoes in Kentucky, and that was what they said. You know, they've been without power for days and days and days and days and days. And that's a problem if you need to charge your car to go somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, or your Milwaukee
or your emergency vehicle.
Or your emergency vehicle.
You know. You got to be able to go when it's time to go. I mean, look at Texas last year whenever we had the snowstorm and their power grid went down for the most part. I mean, those people were down, and people were bragging about being able to run their house off their F-150 electric vehicle. Well, yeah, at some point in time, that battery's going to go dead.
Great. Now I've got something else to worry about.
As if you needed it.
I didn't need anything.
So let's transition off of that just a little bit as we get away from renewable fuels. We know that there's issues all over with supply chain problems. DEF is something that we're all beginning to get used to, or way over used to in the operation of our diesel vehicles. We've heard a little bit about a DEF shortage. Tell us about that.
Well, first we might say what DEF is. We've got some listeners that may not even know what it does.
Yeah, DEF, well, it's diesel exhaust fluid, and what it amounts to is it's a 32% solution that's injected into the regen system on a truck and cleans the air, so it's cleaner coming out than it is going in.
32% solution of nitrogen.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's a 32. Actually, it's a Peril urea that they blend down with distilled water, and there's some process in it. I won't act like I know what's going on, but
go ahead. None of the rest of us do either.
They come up with it. So, but yeah, we are having a problem getting in the pure urea and getting that, being able to make the product itself. I wouldn't say we're going to have a shortage or anything. I don't want to cause any alarm, but yeah, we're starting to struggle making sure we have what we need and where we need it when we need it, because, you know, most of the vehicles on the road, tractors, our application equipment, everything uses, you know,
combines, semis, every diesel motor that's above a size.
Yeah.
And back to the law of unintended consequences. So now we've got all of our transportation has to have this component, and it's not really needed in the process, but for the cleaning and making the air cleaner. So now we've got a component that may be short, it could restrict it.
Right.
Because they won't run without it.
They will not run without it.
Yeah, they won't run without it. And, that goes back, that whole diesel exhaust fluid. It works. It's a kind of a pain in the you-know-what whenever you have to use it. You got to stop and fill it up, keep it pure and clean and all that. But to go back to your earlier stance where we talked about electric cars and things, I don't know when they run an electric car if the air coming out of it's going to be cleaner than going back in. But, on a new diesel, the air's cleaner coming out than it is going in. So kind of contradicts what everybody's wanting to do and make it go. But to answer the question, hopefully we'll be in good shape with the diesel exhaust fluid. We'll be able to make sure all our customers are taken care of going forward and keeps transportation going, tractors going, combines going throughout the year.
You bought speaking of trucks and transportation, you bought a truck to deliver bulk diesel exhaust fluid, right? And
right.
we're doing a lot of that now.
Yeah, we actually haul about 300,000 gallons of bulk diesel exhaust fluid a year right now.
Oh, my God.
Since we merged and we've got some more, that may be a little bit higher, but those were the last numbers I seen. So, yeah, there's a lot of diesel exhaust fluid used in this country. So
it puts it in perspective because it's using such a small percentage in proportion to how much diesel
right.
fuel
Yeah,
use.
and it varies what percentage they use the diesel. I could give you all kinds of numbers, and somebody else is going to have a different one. But, yeah, there is a, 3 to 5% usage versus diesel.
Okay, tell us a little bit about Premier's bulk oil and fuel deliveries. How many gallons are you doing? We've obviously offered that service to our customers, so delve into that just a little bit through our delivery mechanisms getting to the customer.
On bulk oil?
Sure, and fuel both.
And fuel both. All right. Well, bulk oil, we have 2 trucks, 3 trucks actually, dedicated to hauling bulk oil to our customers. We have a full-time, 1.5, I should say, guys. That's all they do is deliver bulk oil, 1540, tractor hydraulic fluid, other hydraulic 6832. So we have a huge bulk oil demand. I honestly don't know what those gallons are. To answer right off the top of that, but on our fuel delivery side, we were diving into that the other day. I think we have 25. Don't quote me on that because it's probably wrong, but 25 tank wagon delivery trucks, with the largest tank wagon truck being 6,500 gallons, and most of them are running in that 4,000 gallon range. But yeah, we have a huge delivery system when it comes to tank wagon diesel fuel and gas.
I'll tell you, and I kind of made the joke about you making the coffee in the morning, but every morning when you come in, you look at our positions, right? I mean, you look at the positions of Premier Ag, you look at the markets, and then you buy contracts. And so,
yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize. I mean, we actually we haul about 100 million gallons of fuel a year right now, which may or may not sound like a lot, but
sounds like a lot to me.
So whenever we get down there and look at it, you think, well, what's 1 penny going to cost you? I mean, if you lose a penny or you make a penny on 1 million gallons, so how do you know that math right offhand?
It sounds like a lot. I know a little number times a big number is still a big number.
You guys put me on the spot today.
Straight from our CFO. I believe our CFO quotes that a lot.
A really little number times a really big number is still a big number.
So, yeah, we come in and check the markets every morning first thing to make sure our position's right, our bulk plants are where we want them to be. A penny's $1 million. So when it gets down to it and you mess up 5 or 6 pennies a day or so on and so forth, it starts to add up quite a bit pretty fast with them. So you got to make sure trucks are pulling out of the right terminals and things. So we're pulling out of Knoxville, Tennessee every day for some of our unbranded sites down in Kentucky. A lot of people don't realize. Up here in Indiana, 90% of what we do is Country Mark based fuel, so we have that. But we cover most all of Kentucky and go into Illinois a little bit, Ohio and Indiana. So we're hauling a lot of fuel and making a lot of moves and getting our positions and making sure we got products secured as we go forward. And
now going into the winter months, I heard you mention in the staff meeting this morning, our fuel is ready for the winter, right? It comes right. We have that.
We do that. We start getting that process going late October, early November, and we try and make sure everybody's blended down and ready to go for the winter when we get this nice cold blast going and these heaters start kicking on. Little shout out to the propane guys there. They can get some cold weather going this year finally. But yeah, we're in good shape. -10, -15 range right now. If it gets below -15, we ought to just be in there inside anyway.
We shouldn't be outside.
Yeah, we shouldn't be outside.
I'm game for that. I won't go outside. All right, so we offer you talked about contracting for Premier's benefit, but you also offer contracting going to the consumer side as well. You want to talk about that just a little bit?
We're a little unique. I know some other companies do it, but we'll go as low as 1,000 gallons on a contract for a year. So we'll tailor it to whatever the customer's needing, whatever the patron's needing, and go. So we've got customers that'll contract 1,000 gallons, and we got customers that'll contract 5 million gallons in a whack. So we have that opportunity. You can set up the time frame whenever you want: 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, however you want it tailored, whatever fits your needs and where you want to go.
Boy, our drivers do a great job. I mean, I see them out there. Shout out to the propane side and the liquid fuel side. I mean, they are out there taking care of the customers. They're on the roads every day. Either hauling out to the construction companies or the trucking companies or the farmers. Right. But they are hauling fuel all the time.
Yeah, we have a great bunch of guys out there hauling product for you, whether it's in the tank wagon or the semis. They've done well. We're only as good as they are, so they get the job done for us. They make my job look easier at times, and they make it harder at times, but most of the time it's harder, I guess. But yeah, so either way, it's they do a good job. Do a good job.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything else. So.
I don't have anything else. Ben, you have anything? Any words of wisdom? You want to talk about electric vehicles some more?
I probably shouldn't go there. It would not end well. They said you guys said a duck would quack if I started cussing. So yeah, well, I don't think we would hear anything but the duck.
Well, it's good to talk to you. And we look forward to having you back. There's always something to talk about in your division. There's no question. Yep. So we will look forward to having you back and maybe giving you 2 hours notice next time before you come on.
That would be awesome. I could really come up with some good stuff, man.
Thanks, Ben. We appreciate all you do, man.
Thanks, Sal. Thanks, Ryan.
That was another episode of The High Ground, powered by Premier Companies.